Sachin, in this section, we're talking about the future of sales as a function, right? So how do you see AI, automation, or predictive analytics changing the future of sales, or rather having any impact on this?
Yes, yeah, especially with the leaders, leaders will have to. So artificial intelligence cannot work in silos, or cannot be the birthright of a few people in the technical domain. AI has to be embedded in every walk of decision making.
Right.
And leaders, particularly sales leaders, will have to use artificial intelligence to detect biases, and also understand and change insights.
Right.
That augmentation which I'm talking about, where human intelligence coupled with artificial intelligence becomes so very, very, it's an imperative almost now.
Right.
Because it's now no more good to know about all these things. You have to get immersed into it.
Right.
So it is going to play a very big role. And companies which are not able to adapt to artificial intelligence will die a natural death. That's already happening.
Right.
And today, the leaders of today and the leaders of tomorrow will be the one who will be able to adopt artificial intelligence, because it is there at disposition, and make informed choices.
Right. So I think a lot of data which, unlike before, we didn't have access to, in terms of profiling your client.
Correct.
And things a lot, that will get culled out and become more effective, more efficient.
Yeah, but yes, it will become. So where the challenge is now for the leaders is that how do they build, even though artificial intelligence will be at the forefront of decision making, how do we then marry and adopt a human-centric approach, where you also need to ensure that there is ethical judgment, where you need to also ensure that contextual decision making is happening at every level, where you need to ensure there is empathy. So the marriage or the alliance between a human-centric approach and augmenting artificial intelligence both has to come into play.
Right.
Otherwise, it will just become like just artificial intelligence there, but we're not able to take advantage of it.
True. Interesting. Now, the salesperson of tomorrow, will he be more of a consultant than a closer, rather than a closer? What do you think it is?
No, that is already happening. A salesperson of today is a person who has the ability to solve problem on the go, on the fly.
Right.
Okay, it is not a person who is just facilitating something to you or trying to push something to you. So the salesperson of today or even tomorrow is somebody whom the consumer can trust.
Right.
Okay, and that trust becomes more like an advisor, more like an advisor, collaborating and co-creating along with the consumer together to ensuring that the problem of the consumer is getting solved. So the role of a salesperson has become much more broader, much more wider, and much more impactful than earlier. Earlier he was just able to facilitate or guide.
Right.
Now is no more. So he will also help and as you said, consulting. I say consulting, collaborating, co-creating.
Right. That is the way forward.
That is the way forward.
Right. Now, as per you, what skills should a 25-year-old who's entering sales, what kind of skills should he focus on so that it can sustain him for the next decade or so?
See, I always tell people that you should have the guts to fail.
Right.
Okay, you should have the guts to fail, because if you don't fail, you won't succeed. It's as simple as that. And if I knew where I was going, I will not go very far in life. So you should have the guts to fail. You should have the ability to bounce back very quickly from those failures, and you should move into territories which are completely uncharted. Right. See, there is no script over there which you can just follow and replicate. Sure. Each and every person, 25-year-old coming and trying to build a career must venture into uncharted territories, must follow their passion, and must decide for themselves what they want to be in life, because this is the best time to be in India. Okay, absolutely. You are not a brand if you are not in India. Everything is going good for India at this point of time, and nothing can stop you from being successful. But you have to fail more often than not, and as early as possible you should fail. So I always tell people that you should 3 mistakes. I talk about 3 mistakes. One is that You should always learn from other people's mistake.
Right.
First thing. Second thing, you should not make a mistake which you cannot afford.
Right.
And third thing, you should never make the same mistake twice.
Nice.
So always look for opportunity where you are challenged,
Right.
where you can challenge, you can question the status quo,
Right.
you can ask tough questions and go into territories which is uncharted.
Right. True. Interesting. Well said. Now tell us, what is that one thing which will remain timeless, in spite of technology or whatever change happens, but something that will always be constant in sales? What will that be?
See, I always tell one thing to people, that facts tell but stories sell.
Okay.
Whether you are whether you are a startup founder, pitching for a funding for your organization, whether you are a salesperson who's nosing with your consumer, story sells.
Right.
So the power of a compelling narrative, the power of spinning a compelling narrative with the heart in its right place is going to be a skill which is always going to be there. The way you articulate the narrative, the way you articulate is always going to be important. Storytelling, resilience, curiosity, ability to handle failure, equally the way you handle success. Right. All these four qualities will remain. Will be like time immemorial. It will with the passage of time, no matter whatever happens, technology may take center stage, but these four qualities, virtues will always be evergreen.
True. So this is never going to change.
Never going to change.
Yeah. Interesting. Now, in your experience, what's the best way to build resilience in sales when rejection is constant, and which happens very often?
See, you have to see the spontaneous default setting in our mind. Human nature is wired to say no to anything challenging or imposing. That's how we are wired. That's our default setting. And to break the shackles, you have to look a challenge in the eye and say, boss, I'm accepting you, I'm embracing this challenge, because I am not seeing a challenge, I'm seeing an opportunity. Right. So the ability to accept the challenge and embrace the challenge, and okay, if I fail, that's fine. That's part of life. Right. So that's the only way you can build resilience. Is not something which is like a magic or a magnet you have and you just flip a coin. Resilience is built brick by brick. Right. Slow brick by brick, time again. It's a continuous work in progress. It's not something which anybody can say I mastered it. Right. Nobody can say that. You can only improve on that. So resilience is going to be a skill, but see, all of us in our career, in our life, have failed more than we have succeeded. That's a part. But the problem is, the irony is that failure is not celebrated. Success is celebrated. And therefore, everybody, that's a glamorous part, but nobody sees the struggles, the hardships, the trade-off, the sacrifices behind that thing. True. So one has to really work very hard and embrace the challenges and keep moving forward in life. That's the only way.
True. Very well said. So Sharjan, what is the one sales philosophy that has been with you and you still carry it even till date?
See, for me, like my philosophy in life is I don't see. For example, in my case, in 27 years, I had never sold anything.
Okay.
So I always believe that it's important to win the person's heart, because when you win the heart, you win the purse. Right. It cannot be vice versa. And for me, that the selling process is a very emotional job. Because after 20 years, also that person should remember my name. Right. Which means you have created a lingering, lasting impression. So when you're looking at that customer as part of your journey, where that person will be there with you throughout, and how that person can influence and be a companion to an influence and get more references for you and become an advocate for you. That is the time when you really won, because it's not just about that transaction. Can I extrapolate a lifetime value from that consumer? After 10 years, can that same customer refer me to somebody else? Right. Talk about me, advocate about me, become a brand ambassador, become my torch bearer. So for me, sales, I don't try to push anything. I position, I understand the problem, and one mantra I will say, which has been my life, which I try to live by, is, dive deep into the unknown. That's where magic happens.
Interesting. Say that again and elaborate.
When you dive deep into the unknown, that's where magic unfolds.
Right. When you don't know.
When you don't know what is going to happen, that adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
You don't know what is going to happen, and that's when you discover your real strength. Because our real capabilities and facets which we have is camouflaged,
right,
not visible to us. But when you encounter something and it's survival for us, that's the time when these qualities which are hidden suddenly comes into play. Therefore, you have to expose yourself threadbare. You have to put your head on the chopping block. You have to, open your soul threadbare. You have to put yourself into situations which are uncomfortable, which will test you, which will put you through pain, and that's when you really discover yourself. So I always tell people that to find yourself, you have to lose yourself.
Absolutely, exactly. I think that's a very important piece. On a concluding note, I'd like to shoot one last question for a lot of people. Let's imagine, a salesperson, probably a mid-career salesperson, or rather take an early sales career person, hasn't been able to do anything in a single month. What would you advise him?
See, first and foremost, when a person is not able to do anything in a single month, it also depends upon how much is done before that month.
Right.
Okay, so say for example, that person has had a decent track record and has been performing all these months, and in 1 month didn't perform. Then they have to seek inspiration from within, because it's the same person who has done. It doesn't have to go to anybody else.
Right.
And say this is going to happen. You are not going to have 65 days of performance. That's when the real quality comes in. When you are tested, when you are pushed to back against the wall, and to look at your own performance and draw inspiration from there. So you have to move forward in life, no matter what. Yes, you will have a bad month, you will have a bad day, and I always tell people a bad day is not a bad life.
Right.
Okay, so it's not that I have succeeded 365 days in a year. There are times when I have felt lonely, I have felt sad, I have felt dejected. But then in the morning, I exercise a run to beat that stress.
Okay.
So people have to find some other alternative ways to keep the stress at bay. But if it's a person who is not at all performing, for 2-3 months, then they have to ask themselves some tough questions. Do they have the skill? Do they have the appetite? Is there something wrong with the product? Is the organization giving them the environment? And they should have a candid conversation with the reporting authorities before the reporting authority starts pulling them up.
Right.
The problem is that we are always shying away from tough conversations. I think a boss will come and question me, तो भाग जाओ, चिप जाओ, ऐसा नहीं होने का. आपको आगे से जाके बात करना है बॉस के साथ. देखो मेरा परफॉर्मेंस नहीं हो रहा है. This is what I'm failing. Can you help me? There is no harm in seeking help. There is no genius in this room. आपको मदद मांगना है, चिल्लाना है, चिल्ला के मदद मांगना है. And that's the only way to succeed in life. Because collective intelligence is much more powerful than individual brilliance.
Absolutely. Spoken like a true salesperson. Amazing. Well, thank you, Sajjan.
Okay,
Been a great conversation.
Thanks a lot.